Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633, and today I'm bringing a review of the Power Rangers Super Megaforce Q-Rex Megazord. Now the Q-Rex Megazord is one of the better deluxe mechas that Bandai America has made, especially since most of the molding is about the same, most of the paint is, well, should I say most of the design is there, but obviously it's missing quite a bit of paint. But surprising in some areas, like here and both the arrows and all that, are actually still intact. The Megazord is just a slight lighter blue than the Japanese version in some areas, like the arrows and a few other things, but overall it's pretty much spot on almost to the design. So take a quick look at the box. Unlike the legendary Megazord, this one has a little bit different stuff added to it. First, we got obviously the 3 modes, since this is actually a triple changing Megazord. And now they added this thing, which they added this ad, which pretty much explains that you can lock the power, and it's just some kind of sweepstakes thing that you use the scanner and so on. It's got a nice profile shot on the Megazord. Bunch of the other products. Now it's actually showing the Ninja Megazord as well, and the Ranger keys from this wave that's actually out right now, but it is a bit hard to find the last wave of the 6 keys. Anyways, the contents in the box is pretty much just the Megazord, and then, contrary to what a lot of people thought would be, actually just comes with the Dino Thunder Red key instead of the Dino Thunder White, so it's kind of disappointing there. To take a quick look, I have the Legendary Morpher here. Take a quick look at how it sounds in the Morpher, since this is the first Dino Thunder key that I have since I've yet to find the Ranger key set. And obviously we just turned again. It just activates the MPR communicator sound. And that's pretty much it for the key for now. Now to take a quick look at the Megazord itself, we have a pretty nice design overall, and it's actually quite articulated for some of the, what's it called, the Megazords we had in the last couple of years. His arms are just on a single joint via zord builder peg, so it's just can turn a full 360 degrees. And then his head obviously doesn't have any articulation, but you can move the horns just a tad bit due to the transformation. His other arm is also on a 360 joint on a zord builder peg, so it allows full 360 movement. Then also it's actually got full leg movement, at least forward and back, on the zord builder peg again. Then it's also got knee joints, which is pretty good for a Megazord. Only goes about that far. You can kind of turn on the top there, and his feet can pivot just forward though, but that's also because of transformation and so on. So in terms of Megazord articulation, it's actually pretty decent. Now, you can do this in all 3 modes, but since it's easier to show it off in this mode, basically what you do is that there's a little hole right here. Get this focus on camera. That you actually could just take the key that came with it, and then it just activates a drill gimmick. So just plug in the key, and then the drill can spin. Now this is kind of a pain, since you have to constantly put the, what's it called, activated with the key and all that, so it's kind of disappointing that it did that. It would be better if this thing could spin in a different way, I guess, instead of just using the key, but at least it can spin, so I give Bandai America credit for that. The only other problem, though, is that you can clearly see is that there's actually no trident mode in this version of the toy. Bandai America didn't actually add it, so that's kind of disappointing. But, and obviously here you can still close and open the mouth there, but that's also because of transformation. Now to get on the transformation, what you do is open it up like this, take the horns, close them up, and collapse it into the body like that. Then just close it up. Now this requires a bit of parts forming. Basically what you do is just remove the arms from on the body. Sometimes that pops out. It's easy to put back on. Take off the hands of the back. So you have pretty much just a bunch of parts. Now what you do is take this piece, close up the mouth, bend it forward, and then you bend the neck piece like that as well. What you're going to do next is now bend the legs and then push up the feet. So now he's in this crouching position. Take this piece here, plug it onto the now exposed Zord builder port, and you just attach it like that. Now what you take with this is that you close this part here on the shoulder piece, take it here, which now you just push this piece up here. So now it goes a little bit out like that. Then you just plug it in, and there you have the tail. Now, to finish it up, all you need to do is just plug in the arms, both sides. Come on, okay. And there you have the legendary Q-Rex Megazord in Q-Rex mode. Now the Q-Rex mode is one of my favorite modes of this figure, just because I really like dinosaurs, and it's really cool that we got another dinosaur mecha over in the States. In terms of articulation, pretty much his hands can turn all the way around, and you can kind of do the bending of the knees and so on. Because of the stance he's in, there isn't much you can do really there. You can just turn these around if you want. The tail just kind of, either way, just kind of bends in some way, but that's just due to the transformation. Unfortunately, in the American release, the fingers are not individually articulated, or at least can move around, so it's just one solid piece, so that's kind of disappointing. And technically, in terms of the last bit of articulation, you can just bend neck and open and close the mouth if you wished. But then it exposes the hand inside, so that's it for the Q-Rex mode. Now for its final mode on its own, what you're going to do is take off the legs, so you just kind of bend them forward since we need to put them in a certain position. Just remove the legs, remove the head, then also remove the arms. Now all you got is this body piece here, and you just bend this down. So it looks like that. And then to finish off, all you need to do there is just bend these outwards, so now they're facing like that. Now, what you're going to do next is now take this little headpiece here, and I'll peg into the same Zord builder port that you put in as if you're putting it in Q-Rex mode. There you have that piece there. Now what you're going to do is now make sure that you put these on the right side. So basically one of the Zord builder pegs on the body here will peg in here, and the Zord builder peg on the leg will also peg back into the body here. So now it keeps them together so that it stays secure. Do the same for the other side. And to finish it off, what you do is turn around. Then you're going to take these Zord builder ports, push them up so that it creates the other Zord builder port, which kind of stands out a little further. Make sure that the hands are facing like this, because the wheels, they're on the bottom of the arms, have to face a certain direction. So you just plug it in like that. The other side, you do the same thing. And there you have the Q-Rex in his drill mode. Actually, you're supposed to turn that around. So there you have the Q-Rex in his drill mode. Now this is the mode that is supposed to represent the Time Force Rangers, or the Time Rangers in Super Sentai. Now I forgot to mention the other mode is basically the Q-Rex mode, if you haven't known by now, is supposed to represent the Mighty Morphin Dragon Zord / Dragon Caesar from Koryo Sentai Drew Ranger. And then obviously the Robo mode is very reminiscent of also the Mighty Morphin / Daijujin's head on the robot, but the rest of the body is pretty much in the same way as the Abba Ranger / Down of Thunder mecha is. So yeah, it's pretty cool what this thing can do, and it's got a really nice design. I just wish it had a little bit more paint, but that's expected in the Bandai America version since a lot of paint's missing, obviously, in the legs and so on. Now, in this one, like I mentioned earlier, you can still do the gimmick if you wished. Since nothing is moved around, and just kind of... the same piece kind of just stays as it is. You're just kind of moving into positions. And yeah, it's still kind of annoying to do the drill as well. Now, the final thing you can do with this mecha on its own, well, actually that's it on its own, but what you can do here, if you have the legendary Megazord, you can just pretty much just leave this off to the side. But what you're going to do, at least, is take off the arm, the, what's it called, the tail, and the head. You just take these pieces to the side, you don't need it anymore. If you have the legendary Megazord, which I have here, all you do is take off the arms, and then, as if you're turning into the Megazord mode on the Q-Rex, just transform it like this, plug it in, then you do the same for the other side, you just plug it in. There you have the Q-Rex attached to the legendary Megazord. Now this form is actually used in Gokaiger. If I remember correctly, what happens with the the Aberranger's greater power, so it pretty much made it so that you can attach the components of the Q-Rex slash Gorjujin's arms onto the legendary Megazord or Gokaio. Now, this obviously hasn't happened in America just yet, since we pretty much just got the episode with Orion slash Super Megaforce Silver's appearance, and it's going to be a hiatus until the end of August, which is disappointing in terms of what they're really doing with Nicktoons ever since Samurai. It's really annoying that they decided to do that for Power Rangers, but what can you do? So yeah, this is pretty much a really, I guess... well, it really isn't that much overall. You're just pretty much putting on the arms and everything. This is actually used for another combination, which I'll show in my, what's it called, the Turbo Falcon video. But that's pretty much all the Q-Rex Megazord can do in terms of its own and attaching the legendary Megazord. So, in terms of if it's worth it or not, it's definitely worth it. It's a really nice design of a mecha, and I think Bandai America did a really nice job doing most of what the Q-Rex slash the Gorjujin did. Now, I got this from Deca in a... since I wasn't able to find it for some time, I decided to ask Deca Blue 25, which I will, I guess, link to you on Twitter and so on in a minute, which I'll show in somewhere on the video. But overall, this is a pretty nice design of mecha, as mentioned earlier, and it's definitely worthwhile pickup, especially if you find it in the store. I actually like it better than the Legendary Megazord, since the Legendary Megazord is nice in its own aspects, but there was a lot more cuts in some places that could have made it a little better if they had, like these orbital pegs, which I wish there was a way you can just kind of hide them somehow. But overall, this is a really nice mecha, and it's definitely worthwhile. Anyways, please comment, subscribe, check out Tokyo News, Hero Taku, Raijin Yon, and the other channels down below, and I'll see you on YouTube. Bye.